you're given a table of data points here, and you want to algebraically construct a function that corresponds to either a growth or decay rate in percentage form, or find that growth or decay rate in percentage form. So we're going to first find the equation and then check our work with a calculator using the exponential regression feature. So the first part is, what is your initial value C? Remember, the initial value isn't just the first value you see necessarily, but it is the one where x equals 0. So if this had been a -1, we'd be looking for where is x equal to 0. That would be our initial point. In this case, our initial value is 500. So that's going to be our C value. And then it says use the specific point, this one here, to construct an exponential function of the form y equals c a to the x, round a to 2 decimal places. Okay, so we already know what the c value is. So we're going to plug that in, a to the x. Then plug in the point xy, 307.06. So that's my output when my input is 3. Solve for a, and then we're going to round a to 2 decimal places. So to solve for a, I want to get rid of the 500 first. So I'm going to divide both sides by 500. All right, so bust out with the calculator. Let's move it over a little bit. Clear this out. So I have 307.06 divide 500. Now whatever comes up, I don't want to round the number. So hold all the digits. That's really important. 0.61412. Every time you round in a problem, you throw your final answer off. So hold the digits. Now you want to get rid of the power 3. So if it's a power of 3, I'm going to take the cube root to both sides. Roots and powers cancel each other out. So I'm left with just a equals. And then you're going to need to go into your calculator and take the cube root of that number. So for mine, I'll take a look under the math menu. See right there, I have the cube root, number 4. And then I can put the answer. I can either type that number in, or I can do second, and then A and S here. We'll put the answer right in there for me. And it comes up about 0.84999. So to round that to 2 decimal places, 0.85. All right, so my function's going to be y equals 500 times 0.85 raised to the x power. Next, it wants to know, is this a growth or decay? Well, notice the 0.85 is less than 1, so it is a decay problem. And now I need to find the decay rate. All right, which means I'm looking for a percent. But the 0.85 is not my number because this is the decay factor. So I need to go back to my formula. Remember, I had A equals 1 minus R, and we're looking for R, so I'm going to plug the 0.85 in for my A value. Solve for R, subtract 1. That's going to give me a negative 0.15 equals negative R, or R, positive R, then equals positive 0.15. So 0.15 is the decimal. Move it over 2 places to the right, and that gives me the 15% as my decay rate. All right. So using the calculator, let's try it with this one. You're going to go into your Stat menu, go into Edit, and then type in the values that are in this chart. So your X's go in L1, these numbers go into L2, your Y values. And once you have those typed in, go back into Stat, and you're looking for the exponential function. So I'm going to go into Calculate, and then I've got to scroll down because I'm looking for EXP REG. Right there, number 10. And for my calculator, I have to hit it twice. But see how it's the A times B to the X? Instead of using C and A, they use A and B. But their A value was 500.000, which was pretty close to mine. And their B value was 0.849997, which was really close to mine, especially when you round it, 0.85. So this is a great way to check your work. So for example, 47, same idea. What is your initial value of C? So again, we're looking for where is the value 0? That's your initial value. And it could have been anywhere in the chart, but you're looking for where is the X 0? That's where your Y-intercept is. Now we're going to use, again, this third point here, the 3760.44, to construct the exponential function. So my Y value equals C A to the power 3. My X was 3. Solve for A, so we're going to go back through and divide off by 500. Okay, and for this one, I got, let me slide up here, 1.52088 equals A cubed. We're going to go back through the same process, take the cube root to both sides so that the power and the root cancel. And again, with your calculator, double check that you're taking the cube root of this number. When rounded, I came up with 1.15. So my equation is Y equals, the C was 500, the A 1.15 raised to the X power. And again, you can go back, type in these values into your calculator and double check to see that you get really close to these two values when you calculate it with your calculator. Identify the growth or decay rate in percentage form. Well, the number here is bigger than 1. Well, take a look at your Y values, what's going on here. As X gets bigger and bigger, so do your Y values. So you would expect this to be a growth. All right, this is your growth factor. Remember, what you're multiplying by is the factor, not the rate. Growth factor of 1.15. For growth, it was 1 plus R, and my A, that's your growth factor. Plug that in, 1.15 equals 1 plus R. Subtract 1. So I get 0.15 equals R, or my growth rate in percentage form is 15%.